my first 100 days in real estate and what I did during those 100 days. Hey, it's Justin with Kilton Real Estate, and I thought it would be important for me to go back in time to October 2014 and share with you what I did my first 100 days in real estate. I know a lot of you guys are there right now, just starting off, and some of you are probably starting over, meaning that, you know, what happened in 2021, 22 is no longer in place, meaning that we were in a luck-based market. Things were just flowing into, we are now in a market that's going to require a lot of skill. So I thought it'd be important for me to rewind back in time and discuss what I did over my first 100 days to help you guys, to give you guys some idea of the discipline that was required, the commitment that was required, and the struggles that I had, because I can understand if that's where you're at right now. I know what it feels like. So my first 100 days in real estate, rewind a little bit and let you know that 99, I started in real estate. I was a loan officer until about 2008. And then unfortunately not planning well and the market shifting, I had to leave the industry. I went to work in for-profit education where I remained until 2014. And then in October of 2014, I decided to come back into real estate as a full-time real estate agent this time. Now, when I came back, I just left 6 or 7 years in the for-profit education industry, and I had no pipeline. I had no database. I had no relationships that knew me and trusted me and wanted to do business with me. And to sum it all up, I also had no money. I had no money for anything. Now, keep in mind, the time that I was a loan officer and the time that I was at Ashford University, the online school, I was converting online leads. They were buying internet web-based leads, and I was calling them throughout the day and converting those at a very high level. And I knew that my best avenue for me to head down in real estate was to buy leads, but I had no money for it. All I had money for was $150 a month to buy myself a dialer and expired listings. And with no training, I had no support. I didn't have a broker or an office or a team that was teaching me what to say, that was teaching me the discipline, that was role-playing with me, helping me overcome objections. I had nothing. I was driving down a dark highway with no lights on and a blindfold. And I knew that the only way that I was going to get myself an opportunity to list a home was that I had to outwork everybody. And what I mean by that is, it's another video, but I'm a behavior versus skill guy, meaning that I truly believe that if I have the right behaviors and I show up every day and I'm consistent and I'm disciplined and I'm committed and I work my tail off, that my skill doesn't matter, because with that hard work and effort, we call it grit, I believe somebody can truly outperform those with a ton of skill. And while you're in that moment, pushing and challenging yourself and learning and getting back up on the phone and picking it up and doing it again and doing it again, even after the FUs and the hangups and all of the other things that come along with it, I knew that as long as I stayed true and I continued to work, that I would have a healthy pipeline. Now, one of the biggest things that I can go back and remember is I had access to an online trainer. You guys probably know who he is. I'll just share it, MikeFerry.com. That is the first website that I went to. Never coached with the guy, but I knew you could go to his website and download free scripts. So I went and I downloaded the free scripts, but I wasn't role-playing with anybody. I wasn't memorizing them. In hindsight 2020, I wasn't even using them. When somebody would say, hey, you know what, we decided not to list our home. Okay, if anything ever changes, give me a call. Hey, we decided to list with the same agent. Okay, if things don't work out, give me a call. Hey, we decided not to sell our home at all. We're just gonna stay here. Okay, if anything changes, give me a call. I wasn't carrying on the conversation. I had these scripts from Mike Ferry in front of me the entire time. I just wasn't utilizing them. But my effort was there. I was showing up 8 hours, sometimes 10 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. I remember people in my office saying, slow down, you're gonna get burnt out. But I knew I wouldn't get burnt out because my drive and my passion and my need for success was so great that I was willing to put in the time. I had the commitment down. I had the discipline down. I had the consistency down. I just didn't have the skill. And so keep going, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. I'm having conversations now, but I just can't get through the first couple of sentences. Now in hindsight, you look back, hey, I've decided to list with the same agent. Hey, I totally respect that. And I can understand you wanting to give them another chance, but may I ask you what you anticipate that agent doing differently this time that maybe they didn't already try? See, now I've learned some of the things to say when I'm hit with those situations, but it wasn't until a certain point in time. I'd been driving about an hour 15 south every Wednesday to meet up with a group of guys and girls that were making phone calls. They were doing an old, I shouldn't say old, they still do it, a Keller Williams thing called Bold 100, where you sit in a room together and you make calls and you don't leave until you speak to 100 people. And I'm showing up week after week after week after week, but it was one moment in time where an agent walked in that I knew of. I knew of this person. I didn't know him personally, but I knew that he had made a business, a very successful business, off of calling expireds. And this is the first time that I see him in. He walks in, he starts making phone calls, and I can hear him on the phone addressing concerns, overcoming objections. And I look down on my Mike Ferry script, and he is word for word using these objection handlers to set appointments. So I had the consistency, I had the commitment, I had the discipline. Yes, I truly believe that my work ethic helped me get there, that even though I didn't have skill, my willingness to give it all in every single day, even when I get pushed down, even when I get the FUs, even when I get the hangups, to still show up and put in the work. Now all of a sudden I had the missing piece. And the missing piece was hearing somebody else, because I put myself in an environment where I was around others who were doing what I wanted to do, call expireds and be able to generate business that way. I finally heard somebody else doing it, and now I had the belief. And so I went back, I memorized those scripts over the next few days, and about 90 to 100 days in, I finally got my first listing appointment and my first listing. I went on in 2015, my first full year in real estate, to close 22 transactions. Year 2 was followed up by 39, and I think I'm going, what am I, 2014, that's 2015, 7-8 years. I've had so much fun, I've lost count of time. But the point is, and I'm not trying to brag or boast, but it was my willingness to show up every day, to make the phone calls, to stay disciplined, to stay committed, to stay consistent. It was that effort that started gaining momentum, and then putting myself in an environment where I could hear others doing what I wanted to do. I don't care if it's open houses, door knocking, sphere of influence, calling expireds, buying internet leads, Facebook leads, portal leads. There's the 7 pillars of real estate, I call it. I'll do another video on that. But you've got to figure out what you want to do, how you want to generate business, how you believe you best talk to people, and you need to do it and do it and do it until you master it and until you build upon it. And eventually it gets easier and easier and easier. And then what you do in your business is you implement another pillar. So maybe it's prospecting, cold calling expireds now. Maybe next it's open houses. After I master open houses, maybe next it's door knocking, right? I hope this helps you guys. I want you to know the struggle is real. If you're out there and you're just getting started, or you're trying to recover from this shift that we all saw, I want you to know, stay in it. It's very important that you show up every day, that you do the work, that you stay disciplined, you stay committed, you stay consistent. And I promise you, I'm willing to bet anybody that you'll see results if you do. It's just that when you show up half-ass or half the time, or you have 10 conversations one day and 25 conversations the next day and 3 the next day, which happens sometimes, but sometimes it's done by choice because we don't show up the whole day, your business will also be a roller coaster. You can't have a consistent business if you don't have a consistent daily plan. I'm Justin with Kill It in Real Estate. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this was good. Hey, comment down below or send me an email. I'd like to hear what you're struggling with if you are, or what you're winning at. If there's something that you're doing right now that is really, really working, let me know so I can share it with others. And if you're in a position where things aren't where you want them to be, let me know. I'd like to see what I can do to help you out. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for stopping by.